Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 20th event in the Nightlight Poetry Series. My name is Tom Snarski, and I'm delighted to be here with you tonight, tuning in from a hotel in Michigan. Christine and I are on our spring break, and even though the internet is technically not working at the hotel, we got a hotspot, all is well and good, and we are ready to hear some beautiful, beautiful poetry work tonight. I could not be happier to be welcoming this mid-April reading and to be involving this stellar group of readers. You're going to hear work tonight from Tara Giancaspro, Lisa Marie Basile, Lucas Restivo, and MD Wheatley, each of whom I'm so excited to have been able to join us and share their work tonight. In case you haven't listened in before, Nightlight is a reading series. We're featuring poets and writers in a monthly Zoom, usually on the third Thursday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're on social media at Nightlight Poems on Twitter and at night_light_poems_ on Instagram, where we hype up our readings and also post recordings of the events when they go up on our YouTube channel. So if you're joining us live in Zoom, thank you for being here. And if you're listening on YouTube, thank you for finding us as well. That's really lovely. All that said, I'm excited to just, stop, take as little of your time as possible in this intro stuff and just get right into tonight's main event. So I'm really excited to begin this evening's reading by introducing our first reader of the night in Tara Giancaspro. Tara is the creator of XXO Gossip Giancaspro, a weekly Substack, which is at taragiancaspro.substack.com. That's taragiancaspro.substack.com. That includes personal essays, pop culture commentary, and the various and sundry of her silly little life. She's been published in Bullshit Lit, Wigwag Mag, Drunk Monkeys, Meow Meow Pow Wow, Pow Pow Lit, Dusk Magazine, and got bit by a dolphin once, establishing a potentially generational blood feud. Giancaspro can be found on Instagram and Twitter at Sweaty Lamar, SWEATYLAMARR. Shout out to Hetty. She's based in New Jersey, if you couldn't tell by the hair. Tara, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to mute it and give it to you to take away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tom, for having me. I'm really excited to be included with this group of readers. Soon to be added to my bio, I will be published in the upcoming Corencia Press Spring 2025 quarterly. And this poem will be featured in that print publication. This is called Is There a Malt Shop in Ochalata? And I wrote it about a boy I dated in Oklahoma. Is there a malt shop in Ochalata? I wish we had been kids. Is there a malt shop in Ochalata? I wish we had been kids. You'd take my hand to chirp me, too tiny me, onto metallic red leather. One barium milkshake, one straw. One soda from the Spinal Tap, one straw. That was your growth, not mine. I didn't do bubbles. I ordered a Hi-C orange. I would lean my big hair to your big head, and we would wait for my drink to come. Mash list on green construction paper, face down in your mead marbled, scratched with spaceships. We'll both rent, who cares? But what I'd say as I slipped it to your desk, you will, tall, towering, show me the photos, two more than your best friend has even seen, of years where that head of yours was in proportion to a begutted body, and I would cross my legs on your inflexible monk's couch, and I would cross my heart with the hand holding your 4x6 shame. I'd want you anyway. That was me too, Dylan, who swallowed the world faminously when returned, one quarter piece missing from the biopsy. It's not in the rug, it's not in the vacuum. Who felt far too hollow in the whirring tunnel. How can we be so transparent? Who fasted for the blood work. What could a post-mortem saltine ever heal? With all our shelves had been through, we deserved to swallow the world. One plate, two forks, one bowl, two spoons. You would lean your big head to my big hair, and we'd wait for our fullness to come. If I could fly back once more to that prison mattress couch, to your sparrow shoulders with my rounded arms, I would fix this first before fuck all else. I would not want you anyway. I would want you because. That's the first poem. The second is, so I was once a singer-songwriter. That's where the Sweaty Lamar comes from. I retired because I hated the sound of my own voice. You'd be surprised considering how much I talk. But I decided to share tonight some lyrics that no one has ever seen or read, things I did not wind up recording. And this is called Put 'em Up, and these were originally lyrics. Vashti Bunyan in the shower, that pan flute shit don't calm me down. I just need a good fuck and a nap. Essential oil or two next to my bed. I forgot what they meant. $40 on crap. Guess peace just ain't for me. I'm more that Judy Sill type of girl, the one who robs banks because she's bored. Chapped lips, chapped vinyl boots, and long haul ennui. Risk it all on Tuesday, cry Thursday out in bed, do it again on Friday, never learn from it. I guess this is just how it'll be. Guess peace just ain't for me. Trying to fit a breakdown into my accrued PT. Oh my God, maybe next. Don't have time this week. Would like to turn off my phone and look at any sky, but are you kidding? Rest in this economy. Guess peace just ain't for me. Tried to set an intention at the crystal store, tossed in a geode well from a geode throne. Their pen was out of ink. I don't know what to think. Should I try to be a good person anymore? This is another little song lyric. This is one that shout out to anyone here who's in the Philly neighborhoods. This is called Cheaters Club. Dick print in your eagle sweatpants from her living room. I open the missives on my couch 1:45. Play house until 5 when the birds stir alive, then slink back to bed with two people we dread in theory, but keep us in any way grounded. At the end of the day, our success is unfounded in the Cheaters Club. I show you my worst self as a compliment. Liars in love, tell me your darkest shame as the way to let me in. And this last one is also a lyric. I went very lyric heavy tonight because these are all things that no one has heard or read before. Uh, this one is called Hurts in Slow Motion. Imagine a lot of like Phoebe Bridgers, sad, sparse, you know the vibe, depressed singer-songwriter. Erica says it's your loss. It only hurts like mine. She said you were always a scumbag, and I wasted my time. When I threatened to walk away, your back was turned. Were you already looking at her? Why does she get what I made? She's putting her flowers in my fire-forged vase. Water meets water. I would have bent to drink from you. I miss your light as the morning starts. A void like a fallen tree in the backyard. It wasn't a bolt that sent you crashing. It was the rot within your root. Why does she get what I made? She's putting her flowers in my fire-forged vase. Water meets water. I would have bent to drink from you. Expanded your myopia, shouldered every blow, green thumbs into the heart of you to help you grow. I stayed when I should have left so long ago, and you let someone else reap what I sowed. I rented an apartment, you furnished an excuse. I offered you a home, you looked down at your shoes. I was only left to love you by letting you go. I hope you know, I hope she knows. I love you, but you suck. And now, in the song that would have been repeated like 8 times, along with the following as a sort of rounded double vocal thing, uh, do you treat her better? Will you always treat her better? Or is it a matter of time before her story takes root next to mine? Do you treat her better? Will you always treat her better? Or is it a matter of time before her story takes root next to mine? Every time I look off to the corner of the room, I'm projecting mental home movies of us two. Do you see them too? Are they in black and white or in color? And those are the 4 I have. Although, Tom, I'm happy to pull something up if you need me to.
Thank you so much, Tara. The time is yours. So if you want to read anything else, you're more than welcome to.
Yes.
I've got nothing here except bios from the Google form, that kind of thing.
No, I think I think I gave you my 4. I'm honestly very excited to hear everybody else.
Thank you so much, Tara. That was beautiful. And I'm so
Thank
glad you
you,
started
guys.
us off not only with lyrics, but with new shit to the world. That was
An
the world premiere.
exclusive.
Yeah,
That'll be out. That
exactly.
should be out next month
Yeah.
at Querencia Press.
Fantastic. So keep an eye out at Carencia for Tara's incredible work and keep an ear to the ground for if the songs ever experience a second life, because that again was Tara Giancaspro, who you can find on Instagram and on X or Twitter at Sweaty Lamar, SweatyLamarr. And there's a lot of, again, great stuff in Tara's bio I like to call out. Not only is there stuff forthcoming at Carencia Press, but also please consider subscribing to XOXO Gossip Giancaspro, which is a weekly Substack that you can find at Tara Giancaspro, TaraGiancaspro.substack.com for some personal essays, pop culture commentary, and the various and sundry of Tara's life. We are off to the races. Thank you so much, Tara, for getting us started. And I'm so excited to keep things rolling by introducing our second reader of the evening in Lisa Marie Basile. Lisa Marie Basile is a poet and writer with an MFA degree from the New School. She is most recently the author of Saint of, and she is the editor of Luna Luna magazine. Also joining us, I believe, from New Jersey. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have you to keep the Jersey train rolling.
Thank you. Yeah, I love to be part of the Jersey train. I appreciate you having me. I was supposed to be here like 1 or 2 times ago, but we had a total power outage in my house. And even if I wanted to get a hotspot, my phone was dying. So couldn't make it. I'm glad that you had me back this time. Thank you so much. I'm going to be reading from this new book. It's called Saint of. It's a collection of poetry. Every poem is called Saint of something. So I kind of view it as like the saints of our aspects or saints of the aspects of ourselves. I did a reading this week and I did all the sad poems and I'm done with that. I don't want to do sad poems tonight, so I'm going to do erotic poems. The whole middle section of this book kind of takes a dive into the desirous. And so that's what I'm feeling tonight. So I'm going to start with something called Saint of the Immaculate. I know a devil. It's the way the sun melt cloaks everything, the way badness leaves a trail of itself behind. Peer around a corner in a silent house and you will see it. Split a piece of wood and I am there. The repetitive life and its small teeth is devotion to purity, not erotic. How the hunger holds through summer and then lapses. Pull back the lips, my darling. Let me see it. Let me see everything you are. Show me beneath your tender veil of longing. It's a glass of wine, and then deception, and then the promise of midnight. Yearning cannot be pinned down for long, or it becomes a ruin that sits inside you, loading itself until it shoots off again. I know the devils of yellow mornings, a soft hand upon a piano, the pulling back of a curtain. I know that an offer to see pleasure is a walk off the plank. That old velveteen trick, I was built for it. The problem is that angels want it too. Okay. Saint of earthly things. Weirdly enough, in all of my life, I have found myself dating or married to Capricorns. They just have been there this whole time. I'm a Scorpio. I don't know what it is that draws me in, but something about that capricious nature, I suppose. So this poem is a devotion to these Capricorn lovers. I have loved so many January bodies. Is it their hands twisting in the earth? Is it their earth? Is the sea only the sea because the earth holds it? Or is the earth only the earth because it is not the sea? I till. I till until I fall back into cotton sheets with my son on my face as voyeur. I want to get dirty up to my elbows with it. Want the soft hand of the infernal. I am always in a tempest. I wear a sacred heart against my chest in a bid. I'm asking for it. for the terroir to fuck me up with the heavy wood of time. God, it thrills to try and flood the immovable. I'm asking the dirt to sing ever louder. I'm the girl who collects the excrement. I'm the girl who cleans the sapphires in the lake. I lower myself down into the well, down into the beneath, down into the marshes, where I can pin my hair and cry out. Give me roots. Feed me your caprine summer. Okay, so some of this book is a lot about obsession and like rumination and just the thoughts that completely suffocate you and that you come back to over and over and over again. So a lot of this book contains the same words, the same colors, the same seasons coming up and over and over again. It's about like all that bursting feeling that we have. So I think this is one of the obsessive poems. It's called Saint of Poetry. In the riot of summer, I become saint, strung up in the rafters, petal pulled as lilac, flung into the center of the meadow upon the kindle. It is the only way, in the brambles, in the light for all to see. An ache made into the neroli I press into my wrist. I am soft thighs, heavy eyes, lips lined, broken at the last vertebrae before hell. If I am to suffer, let me be beautiful. I have carried all the tenses and now they are too heavy. I have left my terror in the flower beds. Now I have become the roses. It's a funeral. No, it's an after party. No, it's a ritual. It's 100 degrees and glacial. It's all mine to transubstantiate. What glimmer sets upon this sorrow? What tender hands trace my edges? Such rapture, such bacchanalia. And I'm gonna end on I don't know, one that I've never read before. I kind of find this poem to be like one of the random ones in my book that maybe I regret putting into the book. But it's true and it's mine and it's a confession and it's there for a reason. It's called Saint of Narcissism. At a roadside crash, I knelt in the glow of engine fire. I vaulted at the carnage like flowers blooming in the night. A man whose head was coated in blood fell asleep in the gentle cellular terror as I cupped his hand in mine. The grass was taller than our bodies, and my hair was in my eyes. It didn't matter if he died. It only mattered that I could watch. He could not have known what stranger fell upon him. My hypothalamic hunger. That I extracted suffering like a shell, without an echo, stuffing the void with more void, filling myself of the vicarious, filling until swollen of the dark triad, his blood begetting my own, until the only witnesses were me and the headlights, until it was erotic, this feasting, this thievery, this digging for a message, this only knowing pain by the name I give it, this very pleasure of the precipice. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that beautiful reading. And thank you. I'm so glad that the, electricity gods conspired that you could be here this time. And that was Lisa Marie Basile, who you can find on Twitter and other socials at Lisa Marie Basile, which is LisaMariebasile. That some of what you heard was from Saint of, which is Lisa's new poetry book from White Stag Press, who make really, really beautiful books. So check out Saint of from White Stag. And if you want to get to know Lisa's work also as an editor, not just as a poet, Lisa also edits Luna Luna Magazine, which is at lunalunamagazine.com, Luna magazine.com. So you can check out the beautiful work that they've published and also consider submitting. So thank you so much again, Lisa, for bringing us to the beautiful midpoint of this reading. That was gorgeous. We've had like erotic poetry. We had Judy Sill of Jesus Was a Crossmaker. We're hitting a crest, and I'm really, really excited to ride that wave by introducing somebody who I'm so excited to have on Nightlight in Lucas Restivo. And Lucas Restivo does not believe that art has or should have economic value, but believes that you, the taxpayer, should subsidize his material needs. Right on, Lucas. Thank you for being here, joining us all the way from sunny Somerville, Massachusetts. Take it away.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm gonna read things that I haven't read live before, and all but one I think are I've never been shared before. So let's get into it. This first one's called Bad Moses. In a puff piece on behalf of the keepers of the smokescreen, corporate magazine, in the tireless work of convincing the world is a number, he calls our office a revelation. I catch my reflection in a staple. I keep reading. I'm a masochist. When I hear footsteps, I click between two windows. Dancing around the implication, he suggests dropping ergonomic into conversation as if it were conversational. The sensible man serves as a moral reminder of a lack of sense, while I putz around a common room whose uncomfortable existence is mocked by its own name. There's no timeline where I expected to be here. And nowhere does the author say outright that the intersection of friendship and market shouldn't be called community or unholy, but the subtext seems to unanimously agree, sell, sell, sell. Every page contains a silent inverse of what it tries to say. So on the plus side, if you can't see God in your desk lunch, you can still take my hand. Thanks. We're going to go to a shorter one. This one is called, Will This Give Me More Free Time? A teenager, a sock, and a mother's laundry bin set this scene's revelation. I'm asking myself the big questions and I'm making the big mistake. I feel completely used and useless. When all I want is to get you and a turkey leg into bed, I'm not flipping the chessboard, and this is all that it really takes to live as a human ideal. But of course, that's easier said than done when there's only one answer to every question, and it's another question. This next one is it just came out in Maudlin House. It's dedicated to Tommy. You want to hear it, and we're gonna read it. It's called "Oh God, Oh Fuck." Lately, I've been thinking of getting into humiliation rituals. Most of what I say amounts to Sharpie on a QR code. I just can't help that Cybertrucks look kind of badass, that a church under restoration is like faith manifest, and to that bar that makes me feel bad about myself, I can do the work of self-preservation tomorrow. What it's about is never what it's about. You're suffering under the punishment of positive expectations. I'm pleased to announce I aim to please, and my aim isn't that great. The prospect of snow now seems sort of beautiful. I have dollar signs for braces in my teeth. I've placed the same antics into parallel structures. I've turned away from you in my sleep. I tried to spite you. I did not miss a beat, except the beat. I love you, I love you, I love you is what I told myself to think. My eyes see two of any one thing. Doctors prescribe me a shape with two identical ends. Someone said by the time you see the pattern, it's too late, but here I am. But here I am. Thank you. I will do a short one. This one's called Yo Ho or R Kind of Pirate. The other day, I briefly considered the possibility of patenting genes. In the legal labyrinths, only the brave descend into the how and the why and the which and the when. There's a real possibility in the near future your personality could be subjected to the historical principles of rent. But in reality, it was just a passing thought, and it bore no toll on my soul. Thanks. We're going to go into a character piece here. It was originally called Twitter. Now it's called Naming or Saying. But if anybody has any suggestions for a better title, the chat is open, and I will take anyone's idea, and I will maybe credit. I'll credit you. We're not free until we all are is a modest opening. No. After all, it was the all holidays are equal, even Kwanzaa party. Plus, finding comfort in discomfort is an important life skill. It sharpens the killer instinct, so you should be thanking me. But it's always the first through the wall that gets bloodied and dragged out of the reclaimed tenement, now decentralized, democratized, venture capitalist incubator launchpad, all for sneaking the descending list of every employee's yearly salary into the doggo Halloween costume contest PowerPoint, which was clearly rigged. Jennifer with a Y clearly doesn't know anything about Grecian revivalism. The togas were never purple. And she had the audacity to laugh when I spoke truth to power, vulnerably, might I add, when I let it be known I slept with a computer science major to access that Excel sheet, as if it weren't a testament to the very conviction that she lacks. And you bet your ass I told the VP of the gentrified HR department, human experience, a Faustian irony, this world is a goddamn prison. God, 100 years ago, I would have been beheaded. They would have put my face on your dollar bill too, probably. It would have sort of made me your boss, if you think about it, or your God, really. You could make that case. Thanks. Let's keep this gravy train rolling. Another work poem. When I remember how to talk, remind me there's nothing to say. This winning personality isn't winning so much. I work in Framingham, Massachusetts, and everyone seems positive about this. My job is door hinge. I've been guilty of lowering the bare minimum. Yesterday, I caught myself earnestly joking, at least my boss doesn't take the phone to my hands. Now my landlord's suspiciously frequent trips to Vegas doesn't have to mean something, but something's always going wrong and I let it. I feel better with a little invention or 7 drinks. And even that's wrapped in the straight jacket of self-justification. It's as if I'm always resisting, always bracing for an impact. And in my twisted math, I call it self-love, that bastard child of the real thing. It's as sad as giving yourself a hug. What grinds a tooth to a nub makes you a coward and smooth to the touch. So sue me if I want to forget for a night. Sue me. I want to make $1 million for you. The days will pass like they do. It's a yes and a no, and now it's yes and no for you. All right. How am I doing on time? I got time for 1, 2. All right.
As many as you want, Luca. As many as you want.
All right. Hold on. We'll do a long one and a not a long one. We'll do a longer one and a romantic one, and we'll call it a night. This one is called Awards Are for Ghosts. It's Saturday night or close enough, and the principles of change management place a 14-step cocktail and the quiet shame of Googling an ingredient between us. I'm here whether you see me or not, tracing the line between apology and conspiracy in your handshake until I see Mary's face in any palm, even a ghost's. I'm not asking you to stop. I'm asking you to not see yourself as the president of the universe in the bar mirror, to rewire the pleasure receptor, to desalt the grounds of necessary sacrifice, to give up the layman's urge to urge himself via proxy. I was president once. I made it illegal to use the word concept. The oligarchy of my algorithms broadcasted, love is the best eugenics, and it failed to catch on. Then I made this whole act of unrestrained will to power fantasies subject to fine of 100 diamond hand push-ups. The genre of fictional shower arguments went down the drain in direct proportion to water saved. In all those public art installations, the stunted children of Little League dad coaches were nuked before they could sell a single ad space. This poem included. Then I killed myself. Now, like an adjunct professor, but in the opposite, I haunt your monologue. The punchline hides beneath a funnel I buried in the maze. If you've seen the field of trench coat washes rustling in the wind, keep walking. When you can't find the path, you're on it. All right, one last one. It's called Amore. I'm just another guy. My regular is insane, and insane is never insane enough. Every morning I watch a baby run into a glass door 4 times. I'm connected to the machine always, somehow. But I digress. You are the light of my day. Soon something will understand your effect on me. It'll be bottled, sold, cause third heads, and if love can't win, I'll go down complaining after every commercial I see. It's not the wet, hot, tortured cement of passion, but stillness that clears my head like a paved over meadow. Nothing new wins my heart. Love, the shower head sounds like rain. Responsibility, unfortunately, is the child of the dream, and the road is never clear. You take 3 hours to get ready, And sometimes I want to stash you away all for myself. Sometimes I picture you eating a really messy roast beef sandwich, knowing well that you don't eat meat. And sometimes I think you love me for this. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Lucas, that was beautiful. I was ear to ear for that whole set. And that was Lucas Restivo. The chat is blowing up with love for that set and those poems. And I lost my tab because I opened the Modeling House website so I could follow along, and that's on me. But that was MD, that was Lucas Restivo, and MD is yet to read. But Lucas Restivo is on Instagram and on Twitter at Louis Library, LOUIELIBRARY. Lucas has got new ones in Farewell Transmission and Maudlin House. You heard the one from Maudlin House, which is amazing. Also, check out Lucas's chapbook with Bullshit Lit, which is beautiful. And there's lots of other stuff floating around in Lucas's name. It'll get corralled when Lucas has time. Also in a band, also participates in the music business as part of Intac, INTAC. That was a really, really wonderful thing to get to hear in this beautiful, beautiful evening that's coming along. Dazzling, amazing. I'm just reading stuff in the chat that is on fire, and I'm excited to keep that fire burning, rolling. No pressure, MD. If you want to release some vocal effects too, you're welcome to. But this in our closing slot, batting cleanup for the evening, is a dear friend and poet I love a lot, in MD Wheatley. MD is a husband, father, and writer from Charleston, South Carolina. He writes books of poetry, his first being What a Heaven Could Feel Like, an absolutely beautiful, infinite jesty, yellow, wonderful book. He's working on more books now. He's also an editor for Soft Union, and he is going to read and blow us all. MD, thanks so much for being here. So glad you can close us out. Floor is yours.
Sweet, thank you for the intro. I'm going to start by reading one of my favorite poems out of Lucas's book, Fucko. So I'm gonna read a poem by him, and then I'm gonna read all new stuff. Yeah, entirely new things, new poems. There's one in there that like a version of it is on Had. But yeah, other than that, it's all brand new stuff that I've been working on, and a large majority of what I'm going to read tonight is and there's excerpts from a book I'm working on called A Smile Like a Simile. But yeah, I'm going to start by reading a poem by Lucas. It's my favorite poem in his book, Fucko. You should get it. I think, yeah, I mean, I assume it's still in print because even the one I have is the second printing, so sounds like it just keeps getting printed, which is awesome. But yeah, this poem is called Tell the Truth, Who Runs Your Donut Shop by Lucas. In the great drainage basins of this country, I can hear her laughing whenever there's a sign for deer or moose. Her story is America, the no choice, the only available life 2 days and 7 speeding tickets away. A sleeping baby in the back. Her husband makes the coffee. Right now, she's the closest thing I have to a mother. When she said, "You're driving, then there's a deer, there's no time." On the way home, I watched the road grow, light pole by light pole over a hill, and into my view, like a video game spawning itself. It reminds me of 19 when your father was dying and your mother picked us up from the bar. She was asking if we found boyfriends and girlfriends in that embarrassing and endearing way that parents are so fond of. I remember the red light softly on her face when she turned to us and said, "Fall in love. It's the only thing you can do." It was the first time I heard anyone talk about this. Right. That's a beautiful poem. I love it. Lucas wrote it. Um, cool. And then yeah, I'm gonna read a bunch of new stuff that I stapled into the latest issue of Thrasher because it was the biggest thing I had where the pages would stay in the binding. This first little part I'm gonna read is like a little collection of like kind of my newest My newest as in like the most recently written stuff. And the collection is called the Sean Jenkins Poems. Satiated by Miracles. I woke up this morning full of expectation, thinking of my mustard seed and how if someone said to me, "Ye of little faith," that hurt my feelings because I'm sensitive. I attended my unignorable hunger with prayer and thought briefly of an emaciated Simone Weil. The doctor said the surgery went swimmingly. I said, sigh. I took a big, deep breath and watched mountains move. I can't be selfish with this power, learning the names of children with purpose. I took a nice long walk to an unnamed pond where the fish danced for me. I thought, wow, this is quite the act of whole. I should come fishing here. But no, the fish were only there to dance for me. They could feel how big my faith had grown, see how deep my love had dove. I lied in the grass and cried, the pond now smooth as glass. A great egret glides just above the surface. Future possibilities. It's dangerous to dream all the time. Keep yourself grounded in a field of flowers you know the names of. My favorite's A Fragile Cosmos with the brushstroke petals. It's okay to dream of steak dinner. It's okay to pretend to taste things that aren't yet real. A story. It is quiet as a house with no family. I've run out of stories to tell, but that can't stop me from telling you about a loud mouse no one's heard before today. I miss my brother as much as I miss my sister, and no one believes me as much as me, so I shut the fuck up. You left me no choice. It could happen tomorrow or after. Either way, you're all afraid, even those trying to become unafraid. When tomorrow's here and death is with, you're afraid because she looks exactly as you thought, like the prettiest girl of all time. You can't look away, realizing you should have fallen in love with today and life, instead of obsessing over someone you'll never know until, well, you know. And by then it'll be too late. You'll have spent your whole life thinking you were in love when really you didn't know love at all. This one's called this one's called Kill Your Local Drug Dealer. Rock, paper, scissors shoot me in the face. Attention deficit disorder as a trauma response. A luxurious car in the summer with no AC. I take my little blue pills whenever I please and sell the rest on Venmo with an unidentifiable payment note. Look, that bumper sticker says the earth is fat. The last one to get to heaven. A cloud hides behind another, and I wonder what from. A portal opens, and I've never been so happy to see blue. Memorial balloons swallowed up, and I remember burial. Sometimes I mistake clouds for mountains and mountains for God. I want to believe God also will open the portal for me, like a carnation. I first roll the calyx in my pincer like a Lucy. I prefer clouds in unnameable shapes at immeasurable distances, balloons that float forever, reincarnation as possibility, records on repeat, listening over talking, lightning over thunder, and being last in line. Right, so those were the Sean Jenkins poems, and then the rest of everything I'm going to read are, yeah, excerpts from a book I'm working on. One of like two that I'm actively working on. And this book's going to be called A Smile Like a Simile. This first one's called God Washes Dishes. There is a man named God. He wakes up at the same time every morning, touches snooze twice to get an extra 18 minutes. He plans accordingly by setting his alarm for 5:42 the night before. He follows a daily routine to maximize his potential. God thinks of alternate outcomes, a choose your path type life. These other paths are out of his control, but he thinks of them nonetheless. When God asks the child to please sit down, God imagines the child listening to his request and sitting down, but the child doesn't. The child does as he pleases. God tells the child that he's the creator of all things. The child takes him literally and asks, "Why did you create bad words?" God responds, "Like what?" The child says, "Like shit." And God confesses, "I did not create the word shit, but I did create everything else." Seemingly unrelated, the child asks, "Do you wash the dishes?" This one's called God Loves Everyone. Even the most unlovable person you can think of, because once upon a time they were children, and God's children are always God's children. In fact, they were perfect until picking up bad habits, similar to, but not the same as, bobbing for apples. God blames Adam just as much as Eve, dad just as much as mom. Like that one poet once said, "Your parents fuck you up. They may not mean to, but they do," or something like that. God still loves his parents. God doesn't hold grudges or judge anyone, even that person you're still thinking of. It's called No One Cares How Big Your House Is. There is a mansion named God. On the outside, God is beautiful. Some say gorgeous. But on the inside, God is gross. God's windows are mirrors. On a nice day, expect to see blue skies and fluffy clouds. It's impossible to see the inside from the outside. God's insides are a reflection. God's doors open every 7 years and let 3 people in: a father, a mother, and a daughter. All of God's sons are already inside. The lucky father and mother get to finally have a son, hundreds of them. And the daughter finally has a brother, the brother she's been looking for years, through the portal between her legs. Some of us use poetry to react to the world around us. There is a reaction named God. God looks like your mouth in the shape of a capital O. God doesn't tell you how to think or feel. Actually, God tells you to trust yourself. Imagine that. Try your best. There is a mother named God, illuminated, sitting in the back of a public bus. God's nodding off, not because she's high, but because she's tired. God just finished her graveyard shift at the graveyard. God is a security guard. God needs to get home in time to get her children on the school bus. This one's called Estoy aquí para ti. There is a father named God. God holds his hand. God holds his crying teenage son in a hug in the middle of a street beside a Honda Civic. The streets still covered in yesterday's rain and last year's dead leaves. The steaming street glows in the mid-morning light. And here I thought I wasn't going to see anything beautiful today. If I had to guess, God's telling his son that everything's going to be okay, but in Spanish. How brave of God to tell us everything is going to be okay when really he doesn't know. This is actually after Joy Williams. There is a dog named God, a child named the dog. When asked why the name God, the child answered, because God is dog, spelled backwards. Yes, but do you know who God is? The child nodded, pointing at the dog. This one's called Un-American. There is a neighbor named God. As a child, to not be friends with God almost seems un-American. To not see a cross when feeling guilt or shame also seems un-American. To not confuse unconditional love for fear is definitely un-American. To not bury God's dead son deeper in his grave is un-American. I used to ring the doorbell of the house at the end of the cul-de-sac to ask if God was home. Sometimes God's mom would answer and say, "No, but his sister's here." Uh, I have like a few more. Sorry, I know I'm reading I feel like I'm reading much longer than everyone else. This one's called "The Girl Who Never Stops Smiling." There is a young girl named God with a smile like a simile. She smiles with a toothless grin, chin protruding. Most assume she's just a really happy little girl, but no one really knows because she doesn't speak much, if at all. But she smiles a lot, like all the time, actually. She also either A, has a cute little pot belly, or B, pokes her stomach out when she walks around. This posture somehow makes her appear even happier, like maybe even proud. She is so precious. I wish you could see her. I asked her once if she was happy, and she didn't even nod yes or no. She just smiled at me, and I smiled back. No one knows that her thoughts are just observations. When she's waddling around seemingly happy, she's thinking, "My mom cares about me. That tree is so tall compared to me." I love when the light suddenly turns green. Never stop yearning. There is a newborn named God, so new she still remembers the other side. God hasn't opened her eyes yet because of the harsh fluorescence, but she knows where she is thanks to the sterile smell. On the day she finally decides to open her eyes to see what all the fuss is about, it's not the woman whose skin so soft and warm she'd grown to love's eyes she meets, but rather a man's. A scared-looking man, but he looks gentle and full of love. Enamored eyes. God stares, thinking about what she needs to teach him. She can tell he still has a lot to learn, but she can also see he desires to know. This little one right here is called decision fatigue. There is a new father named God. God grows tired of making decisions, so instead follows a streak of blue paint. All I've ever known. There is a woman named God. God loves me even when I walk through the darkest, pitchiest, blackest dark with my hands out front as feelers. I feel God, and I love her back. It makes me cry when I think about how much I love God. This is the best poem ever written about love because it's honest. Like poetry, what most love lacks is honesty. And yes, this is what we talk about when we talk about love. We talk about not only being disgusting, but also feeling it. Disgusting. Like just the grossest, nastiest, fucked upest person you've ever known. The people you hate and despise. The people who fucked you up when you were a child. Think about that child. Can you psychoanalyze that child? You can certainly try, but you'll only exhaust yourself. I promise. I've tried. Just fall in love. There is a pit named God. Jump into it. Love God so much you don't remember the amount of love you require, only the amount you have to offer. I remember a woman and a man and a child and a mother and a father and a son and a daughter and a sister and a brother and a wife and a husband, all named God. All right, this is the last one. It's called I Have a Sister. I Have a Sister Somewhere in Heaven. There was a sister named God. The last time I saw her, she had cropped black hair and small hands. Now I must admit, I don't remember what she looked like that day at the airport before I ran away. I remember her like this because it's how she looks in this photo of her trying her best. God, she was so pretty. God's life grew so ugly. I imagine her last moments walking earth with cold, dirty feet, hands still small, a bluish black eye with concealer concealing bluish black elbow ditches to match, whispering to herself, "Wow, this is easy. Wow, the entire contents of this bottle fit in my mouth like all my old teeth. Wow, I've waited my whole life to die like this. This feels like heaven. Okay, bye." And right before God closes her eyes forever, she hears a faint guitar song playing on the TV and the din of the trailer in the park of the drug dealer whom she owed a lot of money, and the song makes her think of me. And at that exact moment on the other side of the earth, I hear the same song, and it makes me think of her, and we hit the earth together with our kettle drum. And I just know that what the water wants is a sister back. And don't worry, it's okay, I'm telling you all of this. God knows I loved her to death. And on days I can't stand to think of her like this, I think instead of glitter.
Wow. Thank you, MD, for that incredible, impassioned, beautiful reading. It feels almost redundant to say that 25 excited chat messages ago, everyone was like, "Can I buy this book right now?" But it's true, and people are really excited about the God poems and about A Smile Like a Simile. And that was MD Wheatley, who you want to follow on Twitter at Hipcandelori, Hipcandelori, and on Instagram at md.wheatley, Wheatley, for news of when that book inevitably finds a beautiful home and comes out so that all of us can hold it. And MD is also wanting to shout out Soft Union, which is a beautiful magazine for new literature. Soft Union has published 6 print issues during their inaugural year. Their online mag is launching soon, like really soon, and submissions for the online mag are open. So consider sending work to submissions at softunion.online or directly to MD at softunion.online. You want to be a part of this beautiful thing. And yeah, I think the poems tell you that as much as my words could possibly tell you that. Um, wow, we are rounding the top of the hour right now, and I'm glad to be here with you all. This is a beautiful, beautiful reading. Just a few words of thanks to our readers for sharing their beautiful work with us this evening. This is a transformative one, and I hope you felt it too. And thank you to our listeners, whether you're listening in the Zoom call with us right now or on YouTube later, in the future, which is a great place to be. We're really glad for you to have given this hour or so of your life over to poetry. This series would not be what it is without an active Zoom chat and a generous cadre of folks who watch our recordings on YouTube. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping poetry readings alive in the dog eat dog attention economy of the here and now. So I appreciate that a lot. We're going to close with a lot of love and the same way we always do. I'm going to read a poem. I've been, going into antique stores in Michigan all day, which has been a really lovely thing. And I found this Leopardi book. So Giacomo Leopardi, Sad Boy Extraordinaire. This is a translation by Eamon Grennan of a poem of Leopardi's I really love. It's called Alla Luna in the original Italian, and the translation is titled To the Moon. Now that the year has come full circle, I remember climbing this hill, heartbroken, to gaze up at the graceful sight of you, and how you hung then above those woods as you do tonight, bathing them in brightness. But at that time your face seemed nothing but a cloudy shimmering through my tears. So wretched was the life I led and lead still. Nothing changes, moon of my delight. Yet I find pleasure in recollection, in calling back my season of grief. When one is young and hope is a long road, memory a short one, how welcome then the remembrance of things past. no matter how sad and the heart still grieving.